BuckeyeHuddle.com. Our Southern Swing continues. We're still here at American Heritage, one of the top programs in the country. Class of 2026 quarterback Dia Bell. First of all, Dia, how are you doing today? How's spring going?
I'm great. Spring's going real good. Just making sure chemistry is working out and trying to get all our guys back from track right now.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of year two now as kind of being the guy here. What's different this year? What's different about how maybe you carry yourself, how you're performing, and just kind of how you're going about leading this team?
I feel like I had to take a step up in all those sort of categories. Being a second-year starting quarterback and now one of the veterans of the team, being an upcoming junior, I got to take more control over the offense and be more of a leader and vocally or showing by example and just being the guy out there.
Your dad played in the NBA for a very long time, Raja Bell. It seems you handle yourself very well in these type, whether it's interview situations or just professional settings, trying to lead a huddle. Mm-hmm. How much of that do you think is your dad kind of rubbing off on you, just being a professional athlete for so long?
No doubt. I feel like he helped me a lot in that sort of field. No real media training or anything, but I mean, obviously, I learned from listening to him. He does a podcast, so being able to listen to somebody who can do stuff like that has just gave me an image of how I need to practice and how I need to sound and look during these sort of media conversations.
But you're still yourself, so I mean, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe not so much instruction, but just kind of watching and learning. And why not basketball path? That's your little brother apparently is going to go basketball, right?
Yes, sir,
That's going to be the basketball angle. What led you to football, and I guess I've talked to Dad about this. He seemed like he was pretty supportive about it. Just how'd that process go for you?
For sure. I mean, my father's dad played football in college at Morehouse, so football's always been in the family. When my dad growing up in St. Croix, there wasn't real much football down there, so he couldn't play it even if he wanted to. But as long as I can remember, I always had a football or basketball in my hand, and then kind of when COVID hit, was when you couldn't get in gyms anymore, and I was able to be outside and throw a football around, and that's kind of when I took lead in that.
Yeah. Ohio State offers you. There had been maybe, I don't want to say a drop-off in contact because it's not like they can really contact you, but I think there was between maybe last summer when you camped and when Chip Kelly arrived, there might have been a little bit of a, let's call it a gap of uncertainty there with Ohio State.
For sure.
How has that been filled now that Coach Kelly's here and you've got the offer and you went up and visited?
No, that gap has definitely been filled. I mean, my relationship with Coach Kelly and Coach Larkin are real good relationships. I mean, I reach out every week or weekly to make sure I talk to Coach Kelly or Coach Larkin and make sure I stay in contact and keep building that relationship.
Yeah. What was your reaction to them getting Coach Kelly? It was kind of an interesting turn of events, how it all kind of came together, but I think a lot of people were surprised he would leave a head coaching job for an offensive coordinator job. I guess what was when you just saw the news, just instant reaction?
Oh no, I was super surprised. I mean, obviously, like you said, being head coach at that sort of program out in UCLA, to come be an OC for another great program. I mean, it's kind of a what really happened, like why did he do that? But I'm glad he did it because now he's now I know him more because obviously at UCLA I didn't meet him. I'd never been out there and stuff like that. So now that he's at Ohio State, I know him and I have a relationship with him. So I'm glad he made the move.
Yeah. So you camped, then you came back for spring. What was either different, better, or anything you saw on this last visit that maybe jumped out to you?
I mean, their team is always great. I mean, obviously Ohio State's always really a top 10 team. I mean, they always blow me out of the water every time I take a visit. It's just their facilities, the guys they have around the program. I mean, having somebody that came to Heritage and is now up there in Brennan Ennis, just being able to get feedback from him and what it's like to be able to play up there, it's great to have that sort of connection.
And what drew you up there initially? Because one thing I've noticed with a lot of the young quarterbacks, or really all positions, is when you come up super early in your high school career, there's usually a reason for it. For one reason or another, curiosity, whatever it might be. Was there a reason you wanted to come camp at Ohio State, come all the way up from Florida?
You talking about back when? Back before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure. Ohio State was always one of my dream schools. I mean, and I was kind of up that way already, and they had a camp, so I was like, I might as well go out and showcase what I have to show, and hopefully it takes me somewhere.
Yep. Sitting down with Coach Kelly. Talking to Coach Kelly, what's he like? Because he's an interesting interview for guys like me. But as far as just coach, player, recruit relationship, how are those conversations so far?
I have a great relationship. I mean, being able to talk to him, not even about football, just in life in general, and being able to connect with him, He knows a lot about my dad's background, and they kind of connect that sort of way too. So being able to have a coach being able to connect with my dad as well as me, that's just another factor that he's kind of added on to that.
Obviously, there's other schools recruiting you. Are there some schools you've built a good relationship with so far, visits that have stood out, anything like that at this point? Very early, I know.
I know for sure, like, most of the visits I took this spring were amazing. I mean, I enjoyed my time at all of them. Obviously, I have better relationships with some schools just because I've known them for longer periods of time. But as time goes on, I'll definitely build those relationships with other schools that are kind of newer to me, and I'm newer to them. So I feel like it's still kind of early, like you said, to say, but hopefully I'll be prepared to be able to make a decision at some point in the future.
You're going to have a lot of former teammates, former Heritage guys probably pulling you in 5 or 6 different directions.
For sure, yeah.
What's that going to be like when those guys, I mean, probably right now it's like, oh, it's all fun and games. They want you to get your offers and get out and see. But once the pressure's ratcheted up, what's that going to be like?
Oh, no, it's going to be crazy. I mean, we have great talent at every position here, especially in our receiver and running back room. So when it comes decision time, I mean, hopefully one of us will end up playing with each other in college, and hopefully if somebody commits before the other one, we can try and persuade them a certain way. But no, it's going to be super. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to be exciting. What's
Bell, the quarterback, like? What are your strengths? What's attracting the colleges? Where are you improving? Just give us the breakdown.
I feel like my ability to be able to make plays, whether it's with my feet or with my arm, and be able to extend plays with my legs, like I just said, and being able to be a leader and people. I like to make sure that people can gravitate towards me. I'm a sort of figure that they can come and look to if they need for help, whether it's with football or without football. I just like to be able to have those sort of relationships with guys. So I feel like whether it be my skills on the field or off the field, I feel like it kind of attracts coaches.
Yeah. Do you have anything coming up with Ohio State, whether it's summer, fall, or maybe not even scheduled necessarily, but have you put any thought into maybe getting back up there and when that might be?
No, I've definitely put in thought to that. Hopefully we'll get up to a not a spring camp, but a camp, summer camp this summer. But yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. Hopefully we can get back up.
Where else would you like to get this summer if you can, whether it's a school you haven't seen yet that you really feel like you need to check out, or it's a school that maybe caught your curiosity the first time and you want it, or first or second time, whatever it might be, and you want to get back there and see some more?
I feel like there's a couple schools. I mean, schools like Oregon, I mean, they're always across the country. I haven't ever been there. I feel like summer is the time to do that because you're not taken away from what you're doing with your high school team. And maybe a school like Alabama, just because my parents didn't get to see it when I went. It was me and my grandfather, so being able to take my parents back and to both of those schools really to be able to see it and so they can get a feel for it as well as I can. Those are kind of 2 schools that I'll probably get back to, is hopefully. And then obviously like schools like Ohio State and all those other schools I took visits to in the spring, I'll try and get back to those as well.
Sure. So you're kind of well-traveled, I would think, at this point, just from your dad. You're pretty entrenched here down in South Florida now. Ultimately, you're going to have to decide where you're going to play your college football, and I mean that in the geographical sense, not necessarily in the school sense. Are you looking at staying in Florida? Is that a factor? Is there, a pool to maybe go away somewhere? Is it not a factor at all? Just how do you look at geography? Because you're kind of a unique situation.
From a geography standpoint, obviously, like you said, my family have always been on the move because of what my dad did. So I don't feel like it's a factor to stay home or not. I just feel like I just want to make the best decision for me, and make sure it's the right fit, and I'm doing the right thing for me and my family as well.
How Mom and Dad feel about that?
Oh, they're fully supportive. I mean, as long as I'm making my gut decision and making the right decision for me, and I feel like that's the best place for me, they're fully supportive of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate you doing this, man. Appreciate it. We gave Byron the senior courtesy to go first, so we appreciate you sitting in line and waiting. But good luck here the rest of spring. We'll see you if you come up in the summer. We'll see you there.
Yes, sir.
Good luck on your visits.
I appreciate you having me.
Yep. All right,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Yep.